really learn how to fight for real, and I can go into any video game and beat up somebody. And it felt kind of cool in this game that they had more hand-to-hand combat. Like, it just felt natural. I mean, I don't know if it's because I just played a brawler and I could do it here, but I'm glad that they brought that in because there are so many ways. Well, let's just say there's so many ways to kill people in this game. Like, there's so many weapons to choose from, and you have a lot of ways of using those. You can decide to, like, strategize the way you want to take people down by saying, oh, you know what, I'm going to go over here and pick up this sniper gun and finish this guy off way over there. Then I'm going to go over this guy right here and take him out with a shotgun up close.
What's the recruitment policy like for the evil people, though? Is it like they just go into this room and there's like 100 people there and they're like, okay, everybody gets a suit and you get a gun and then you got to get on this helicopter transport because if you go like through a road, you got to go through some like he's traveling through like crazy crevices and things to get where he's at, and then somehow the evil people get there. I don't know how. They're just like, are they parachuting in or something?
They're always there before him. Right. And there's a lot of them.
Right. Yeah, and they're all dressed up. You know, they're all in suits and ties and stuff. Well, some of them, and you know, except for the guys carrying the gasoline. I don't know. It's pretty funny though the way that he has so many people to kill, because it almost seems like it's just a way of slowing the game down, because otherwise it's excellent even without it, because most of the time I'm just like trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go in a good way, you know, like I got to climb or I got to go around something and go through windows, and they always mix it up and change it. Like sometimes you're swinging on those chains and those guys are shooting down at you from the top of the tower or whatever. It just always seems to work. You wouldn't think that just climbing around can get intense, but like when that whole building's burning and everything and you're trying to jump and climb and move through all that, it's fun. It can really, you know, keep you going without having to just be a game where you're just shooting people all the time.
Yeah, that was one thing that really surprised me, that in spite of the fact that it just restarts immediately right after you die, which kind of pulls away some of the threat of death, it didn't matter because you were still so invested in the characters and the set pieces were paced out so well. It was able to, even right after you die, immediately immerse you, you know, back in the feeling the threat, like something horrible was going to happen and that you were really connected to the characters and everything.
Yeah. Did anyone notice that all the bad guys look like members of the British Nazi Party? They're like the BNPs with all their white supremacist shaved heads and stuff, and they all look alike. Well, yeah.
That's just the last part of the recruitment, right? Here's your suit, here's your gun. Go see Jim, he'll shave your head. Now get in the airplane, we're out.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the leader of the bad guys is this Aryan, blonde, Helen Mirren-looking woman. And, yeah, they're all, like, got shaved heads and look massive. They look like the Aryan Brotherhood or something, except in London.
What version of the game were you playing? Because all my guys had black hair. None of them had skinheads.
He's talking about the thugs. I mean, there were very, that was one of the things, is that I didn't really think there was a lot of variety in a lot of the enemies. I mean, they still came in, like, certain types, you know. There were, like, a couple of the suit guys and then a couple of the shaved-headed thug guys. And then a couple of the guys who were dressed up like sand people.
That's racist, Jason.
You know?
He said
they're Arabs, okay?
They're Tuscans. He's not talking about Arabs. He's talking about Tuscan Raiders.
Yeah.
And they killed my mom, so yeah, screw them. I can be racist against Tuscan Raiders. I hate fucking Jawas too, little bastards.
Yeah, little did you know that Jedi are the Aryan soldiers of their world. So,
that's right.
You know what, Jason and Kevin, both of you, you mentioned about how the game keeps you like really into the action, not only by dying and bringing you right back, but I mean, besides the obvious set pieces, because there are so many things that are going in this game that require you to run. You're running from spiders trying to stay into the light before they just cover you alive, and then you're running out of a burning building that's been set ablaze by your bad guys, as Kevin just stated. You're running from buildings that are falling apart, and during this time, they combine this with some of the platforming. Sometimes the platforming most of the time, I would say all the time, is linear. You have a set path to go, and Nathan is gonna tell you where to go, because whenever you reach a certain point, he reaches his arms out like a little baby reaching for like food or something. I want to go there, but you know. You would think like, okay, linear, that word has become kind of a bad word today. But in this game, they mix it up very well. Even in some of the calmest moments, you'll get on a pipe or a ledge, and that thing will fall apart or like it'll fall over. And sometimes you have to do just a real quick time action to stay there. There was one time I died because they didn't hint at me that I had to grab onto something. Yeah. And then when you're like during the action parts, when you're doing that platforming, that think fast moments. You have to keep going while the floor is falling beneath you or there's debris falling on top of you. And so they have a way of keeping it exciting despite all the linear aspects the whole time. Yeah. And I tell you something. Yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, it is very, very linear, but that's okay. Games don't have to be open world. This is just a very good example of how to do linear right. And in fact, if you think about it, this is almost, not quite, but almost like Dragon's Lair for 2011. Where something's coming at you and, okay, press up. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just remember to press up at this exact moment. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, but actually, I mean, there were a lot of sequences in the game. To me, the game it reminded me of thinking about it kind of like Crysis 2, where there were these real linear segments that you guys have been talking about, but then you will a lot of times open up into these big open areas where they've got a whole bunch of guys, and a lot of times those are the places where you can kind of start off as a stealth thing, and then if you want to, if you don't care about stealth, you can just shoot that guy in the face, and then everybody comes out and you start blasting them.
It always starts off as a stealth thing. That is never how it ends.
Man, that's what I was going to say. This, Kevin, I didn't know if I was being cursed because I talked about you so bad last week, but you know what? They try to tell you, like during a tutorial earlier at the game, they say, hey, sneak around this ledge and press the square button to take a guy out, and, in stealth mode. And there ain't no fucking stealth in this game, okay? I mean, no matter, that's the thing about having so many guys, like they got an army waiting on you, and there's going to get to a point where two things are going to happen. You either going to run across a guy that's going to see you, because there's nowhere else to keep crouching behind. And he's going to say, hey, who's there? And they're going to start shooting. Or you just going to say, fuck it, I'm tired of sneaking around. And you're just going to take on everybody. And that's what I did. I mean, I got to a point where I just said, fuck this. I'm bulletproof. I mean, really, Nathan Drake is bulletproof, because one of the cool things about the hand-to-hand combat in this game, which is great, it got to a point where somebody was shooting at me from behind a corner, and I was scared to come out because I don't want to get shot. But after realizing, Nathan Drake, he could take about 100 bullets in his ass before he falls, I just said, fuck it, and threw my weapon down and just went over there and punched the guy.
It took him out. Like those big guys, those big bulletproof guys. Yeah. It's kind of easier, as long as there aren't other dudes sitting around shooting at you, to run up to those big armored guys and just start punching him.
I went through, I love it. Nathan Drake, that's why I say the guy, he is a sociopath, because he doesn't care about death. There was a point where I took out like a whole army, just about, in this game, an army is about 20 people. I took them out just by hiding and fighting. I would just wait for them to come around to the corner, and I just punch them out. And I got through like 20 guys like that. As long as you're somewhere not out in the open where somebody can hit you, then you can do that. And that's one of the things that I don't know. I didn't play it on difficult. I played on normal. So I thought that's a little bit too easy to do. You can't do it everywhere, but I did it a lot.
You'd think that the guys would figure it out after a minute and go, dude, don't go over there. He will kick the shit out of you. Let's just sit here with our guns and try to shoot him in the face.
In fact, somebody called like a nuclear strike on that spot that he's in, because apparently bullets don't take him out. We have a Jason Voorhees over here to just stalking us. Or you could do the Korey Coleman method of also taking people out with your guns and just running into a whole crowd of people and hope that you hit something while you're shooting. I just run out like, screaming.
It's actually good that you mentioned that, because this is like one of the few game series that I played where just yelling and shooting without zooming in at guys and then running in and punching a bunch of guys in the nuts is a perfectly viable alternative to the Gears 3 style, sitting behind this one little rock for 20 minutes shooting guys and move from cover to cover to cover to cover, all serious and shit. With Nathan Drake, you just throw some grenades or whatever.
I switched into retard mode quick. I got retard strength when I'm screaming and shooting. I was like a Muppet on treasure. Shit, I was like a Muppet on speed after a while, just run. Just shooting anything, man. I don't give a fuck anymore. I will say that there is some drawback to some of the hand-to-hand combat. Like I said, I think they've made it a little too easy. There is no strategy in this game. They try to give you some, but there is none. I mean, there's certain parts where you have to take out people with a sniper rifle here, or you are required to like sneak and take a couple of guys out here and there before the hell all lets loose. But I just thought like, I wish there was just a little more strategy. They're going to give you this variety of killing people. The other thing is that there's some cool stuff in the game to look at, but practically it doesn't always work. I love that move when Drake will like grab somebody's grenade and unpin it and watch that person explode. But every now and then I would do that. Now, and the thing is, it triggers automatically. You don't always get to control that action. It'll just happen. And I would do that to a guy that would have me in a corner. And then, the guys are ready to explode. I'm like, move, man, move.
I think those.
He gives you like a big bear hug as well. It's like, no, you're going down.
Thought you were going somewhere, didn't you?
I think the worst part of that is like when you're sneaking around, you can technically not break stealth if somebody sees you, if you could punch them out without them shooting. But then all of a sudden, Nathan Drake just decides to turn this guy into a human